Welcome to another episode of Astrophile. Steve and I have something cooked up special today, everybody. We were actually investigating kind of a topic for astrophiles that might be interesting to talk about because not everyone understands the true definition of a blue moon. So in our investigation to put together this video, we discovered something. I think, Steve, it's probably going to revolutionize physics and astronomy.
All right, calm down.
Okay, maybe not. But Steve, what's the definition of a blue moon?
I mean, the traditional thing that we hear about blue moons, you know, the newspapers post about it every time it happens, is when there's 2 full moons in a month.
Exactly. So let's say there's a full moon on August 1st, and then at the end of the month, you'll actually be guaranteed to have another full moon. And that moon is called a blue moon. Trust me, it's not blue in any fashion whatsoever. Let's talk a little bit about the orbit of the moon and see how this is possible. So, I've got all sorts of drawers and astrophiles here. And let's see. In fact, the thing that we discovered, you can have a February blue moon. So February, blue moons. Well, we have to learn a little bit about the moon's orbit. So let's take the Earth right here, and the moon, let's position right here. Well, if the moon does one complete revolution of the Earth, that's a lunar cycle or lunar month. Well, let's do this at a later time. Let's put the Earth here, and let's put the moon at this location. Would you not agree that the moon has done one full rotation of the Earth?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay, so this is what's called the sidereal period, the time it takes the moon to go around the Earth. And the sidereal period is equal to 27.3 days. Well, okay, so the moon takes 27.3 days to go around the Earth. Big deal. But it's actually a little bit more complicated that when you want to incorporate moon phases. Let's say the sun was over here. Notice the sun, the Earth, and the moon are in a straight line. Well, this is going to be a full moon. Phases of the moon, a future Astrophiles video. But look what happens. You told me earlier that the moon does one full rotation and ends up on the left of the Earth. But notice these are not in a straight line anymore.
Oh, I see.
So if I draw this down like this, the moon has to continue its orbit beyond the 27.3 days to once again get into alignment with the sun, opposite the sun from the Earth, so that we get a full moon. So this is called the tropical period or the lunar period in terms of phases. And this period from full moon to full moon is 29.5 days. It takes 2.2 extra days for the moon to move in its orbit to get to the point that it will actually repeat a phase. So, if the moon only takes 29.5 days to go around, that's how you can have a full moon, let's say on August 1st, 29.5 days later, around August 31st, you'll have another moon. And what's that called?
And there's your blue moon.
There's your blue moon. So these happen like every 2.5, 3 years, these blue moons. They come in cycles and all that stuff. Whoa, check this out. What? Let's move on. So while we were putting together the video, we were saying, well, geez, I guess you could never have a blue moon in February. Why is it you could not have a blue moon in February?
All right, because the February is only 28 or 29 days.
Yeah.
Right.
So February, depending if it's leap year or not, so Feb has either 28 or 29 days. Well, if it takes to go from full moon to full moon 29.5 days, there's no way you can squeeze that into a month of February. Let's even take the leap year. Here's the beginning of February. Here's the end of February. If you had a full moon exactly at the moment that February began, so here's a full moon, it's going to miss this February month and go into March by 0.5 days. So you're not able to have a second full moon in February.
So no blue moons in February.
No blue moons in February. Well, we found, good thing for duct tape, we found some February blue moons. And you might be saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Blue moons can't fit into February.
Right, we just established that.
So how is it that we found February blue moons, you might be asking? Well, the definition of a blue moon has not always been the second full moon in a month. There are alternate definitions going back into the 1930s, in fact. And I'm really struggling here, as you can see, Steve. Let's switch over to the Scotch tape and let's piece this back together. And I know that some of our viewers are wondering, what in the heck are they
Right,
doing?
what is this giant string of paper here?
And I just botched it one more time. But we put together a file where we went through and looked at the alternate definition of a blue moon. And it's called a seasonal blue moon. The way a seasonal blue moon works is, let's say you have the first day of spring, commonly known as the vernal equinox
Right,
in
the
astronomy
vernal
circles.
equinox. All right.
And the next astronomical thing of seasonal significance after the first day of spring is the first day of summer. So how many months is that from spring to summer?
So the vernal equinox is in March, the summer solstice is in June.
June.
So you're talking 3 months.
About 3 months. Now remember that the full moon to full moon takes about 29.5 days. So do you see that you could fit 3 full lunar cycles inside a season?
Right, from 3 months. Each month, as long as it's not February, each month is longer than 29.5 days.
Exactly. So let's say, let's go and pull this out here. Let's say we had, as my example I was just doing, is we had the vernal equinox, the first day of spring, right here. And then we have the summer solstice, the first day of the summer. Let's say we get a full moon right at the beginning. We get a full moon here. We get a full moon here. You can actually squeeze a 4th full moon in.
Just barely.
Just barely. It's like a day. It's actually a matter of hours. So you get 4 full moons in an astronomical season, the 3 months here. Well, the traditional definition of the blue moon is the 3rd full moon in this seasonal situation is called a blue moon.
Oh, the third one. Okay.
The 3rd one, not the last one. You would almost kind of think it's similar to the last day of a month being the 2nd full moon. But the traditional definition is the 3rd full moon in a season where you have, ooh, this is getting a little dicey here, but we're making it happen. Let's see if we can speed this up a little bit. So, the 3rd full moon in a season that has 4 full moons is called a blue moon. So that got us thinking, is it possible to have a seasonal blue moon that actually occurs in the month of February? I mean, it's got to be somewhat rare.
Right, well, that's the phrase once in a blue moon, right? These are supposed to be rare.
Now, if we take a look back here, we
That's a
put
lot of
together an
paper.
Excel spreadsheet file that's over 16,000 lines long. We've printed it out, and it, no joke, is 315 feet in length. And we're coming to literally the beginning of it right now. We started in 1900. This is the winter solstice in 1900. And then in 1901 is the first full moon of the year. Then February 3rd is the next full moon. And March 5th is the next full moon. Our spreadsheet goes 1,000 years. And we were purposely trying to find situations where we would get February blue moons. Well, our search took us down this path. First, a modern blue moon is when you have a second full moon in the same month. So in the year 2020,
All right, so that's last year.
we had October 1st, there was a full moon. October 31st, there was a full moon. And this is a modern blue moon.
Okay.
From 1900 to 2900, we found 417 of them in this 1,000-year cycle.
All right. So that's one every around 2.5 years.
Exactly. Now, seasonal blue moons that I brought up earlier is when you don't have 3 full moons in between a season beginning and ending, you get 4. So here's an example that's happening in the year 2021. Whoa, August. I mean, that's just around the corner from when this video is going to be posted. Check this out. The summer solstice was June 21st. Then just after that, on June 24th, we had a full moon. We get another full moon, another full moon, another full moon, and then we'll have the autumnal equinox, or the first day of fall, on September 22nd.
Okay.
4 full moons in one season. The third one is called a seasonal blue moon.
Okay. Now, just to clarify, it's not going to be blue, right?
Look, I dressed for the occasion. I got my blue shoes, my blue pants, my blue bow tie, the blue shirt. But the moon is not going to blue. I'll take that responsibility.
Okay.
No blue moon. So, what we wanted to find were blue moons that occurred between the winter solstice and the vernal equinox, because then that third one ends up in February.
Okay.
And high five, Steve. We found not just one in this 1,000 years. We found 9 times that we got blue moons in February. The winter solstice, first day of the winter, in 1904, was followed by 4 full moons. And the third one is in February, and the vernal equinox in March of 1905. Here is one season, 4 full moons. The third full moon is in February. We have a blue moon in February.
It's pretty cool.
We also found it in 1981, 2000, 2258.
That's a big
That is
gap
the
there.
next one that it happens. 2353, 2371, 2630, 2725, and 2744. So on these dates, we have
All right.
blue moons in February.
Good. We'll make sure that we get a screenshot of that, everybody, so you can put it on your calendars.
Yeah, put this on your calendar, especially the ones that you might have to handwrite it in, So, interestingly, we also found that there are months that have no full moons in February. And from 1900 to 2900, there's 48 times that you will not have a full moon at all in February. This isn't a blue moon, just no February moon. Okay. Remember, it's 29.5 days on average to go from full moon to full moon. What if it happens just before February starts, that just after February ends, you'll get the next full moon, so no full moon in February. Oh. But that also means you'll also always have a blue moon in January and a blue moon in March.
By the modern definition.
By the modern definition. But by the traditional definition, Steve and I have found these 9 dates over a 1,000-year period that you can have a February blue moon.
It's neat because I think that, even people who knew that a blue moon is the second full moon in a month, I think probably a lot of people were not aware that there was a different definition. So they probably would have thought, hey, you can't have blue moons in February.
Yeah, and that different definition is the seasonal blue moon. Right. And we were able to find 9 of them in 1,000 years that happens in February. So let's go ahead and take a look at the number line where this occurs. Starting in 1900, and 2744. There you go, guys. 1,000 years, and we have 9 February blue moons. Modern definition, it's impossible, but their traditional definition, we found them. As always, as the universe is always expanding, so can your mind.